You're listening to Lore Friendly. I'm your host, Chris Takahashi, and with me, as always, is the Sultan of Shakespeare, the Duchess of Drama, the Ayatollah of Nuka-Cola, Alice Bell. Say hello.
Did you just come up with that on the spot? Because that is amazing.
No, I thought about it beforehand.
Ah, okay, well, no props to you then. Yeah. Hi guys!
Yeah, you suck.
Boo!
But yeah, this is the second episode of Lore Friendly, and it's gonna be tough to top the first one, because it was clearly the greatest thing man has ever achieved.
It is the best thing on YouTube right now.
Yeah. I believe critics are hailing it as bigger than the Big Bang.
I heard some people say it was okay.
Yeah. Johnny from Texas probably didn't like it too much.
No, I've been getting lots of violent threats from him.
Oh, yeah.
He's just been emailing me constantly and twittering me.
Yeah, I don't think it was a coincidence that there were 2 dislikes on our...
No.
Yeah.
He disliked it, and then he made another account to dislike it again.
Yeah.
What a
prick.
dick.
Yeah, seriously. But, like I was saying, bigger than the Big Bang, but, you know, we have to give the edge to the Big Bang, because obviously without it, we wouldn't have a podcast, so...
Yeah. Good on you, Big Bang.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Clearly it's better, but, you know, we're like right there. It's like neck and neck, I would say.
We have to give props to the Big Bang.
Yeah.
Just because we might get a big squeeze at some point.
Yeah.
Is it called the Big Squeeze, the theory that the universe is going to implode on itself?
I think it's the Big Crunch, right? Or no?
That sounds really painful, though. The Big Squeeze sounds kind of nice. It sounds like a big hug.
Oh, yeah, it's like gentle. It's like a gentle death of civilization, or the entire universe. But we're not done, you know, improving the world, because we actually have a new thing that we're going to unveil for this episode, which is our rating system.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and, well, basically a little bit of background. Current rating systems, they kind of rate things like 1 through 10, and, you know, like 1 through 4 stars, or, you know, 50% freshness, or whatever.
And everyone does that.
Yeah, and, like, other forms of produce. But it doesn't really tell you much about the thing you're reviewing. But if you use Game of Thrones characters...
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it tells you everything you need to know. So, like, for example, yesterday I had pancakes for breakfast, and using a Game of Thrones rating system, I rate them Lady, Sansa Stark's direwolf, because they were light, fluffy, and they had a grisly end in
Oh my
stomach.
god, that's awful. That's not fair, poor lady. You're bringing back flashbacks.
Yeah, but that's pretty much describes what happened to my pancakes. They were digested and probably met a rather gruesome end. But they were light and fluffy during their existence.
I'm crying already. We're only like a couple of minutes in. Damn it, Chris. Why do you do this to me?
I'm sorry, I couldn't think of anything else. Okay, how would you rate pancakes then? What character would you use?
I don't eat pancakes.
Oh, well then.
I'm going to be really obscure.
Marmite.
Yeah, Marmite. I'm going to rate Marmite. I'm going to rate Marmite.
It's shit on bread.
Fuck off. It's the best thing ever. Therefore...
Okay, so, what would you rate? Or give an example of a rating.
Okay. I'm going to be super obscure, and I'm going to rate the last book I read, which is on my reading list, not the Batman reading list, but the actual Victorian, actual literature reading list. And I'm going to rate Lady Audley's Secret. And I'm going to give it a Jon Snow, because it's relatively intriguing, but we all know who Lady Audley really is. And if it turns out that R plus L equals J is not... Wait, what? Yeah, that's the right one. R plus L equals J isn't true, then I'm going to retract that completely. Because I guessed who Lady Audley was in the first chapter.
Oh, wow. But because you're a doctor.
I know. Well, getting
Almost.
there. Almost.
Getting there. Yeah, someday you're gonna have to make house calls and perform a Shakespearean lobotomy, which is basically just reading Shakespeare until the patient's brain melts off from boredom.
I think that's called a soliloquy.
Oh, is that what it's called? I don't know the technical terms, okay? I'm just a pleb. Just a plebeian here.
I love that word, pleb. It sounds great. I like words. Like plural and plimsoll.
Yes, but we all know what words you hate, and unfortunately I can't say
You're
them.
not going to say it.
I'm not allowed to say it.
You're
I am
not.
allowed to try and trick you into saying it.
You can
like how's the weather? How's the weather out there, Alice?
It's really
humid?
fucking cold.
Is it humid?
No, it's really fucking cold. I'm
But
in my
it's
pajamas.
summertime.
It's August, and I'm in my pajamas.
Isn't there a lot of... I can't think of the word, but it starts with an M in the air.
No, it's pretty dry, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, and when it's dry, you need to put lotion on your skin. Sometimes it's called... You're not gonna say it, are you?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's called, skin
Something
wetterizer, supplerizer. It's skin supplerizer.
Okay. One of these days, Alice, I'm gonna get you. You're just gonna say it because there's gonna be no other word. There's gonna be no other word that fits.
I might say it for your Christmas present.
Okay. I would appreciate that. And then I would watch... I have a confession to make. I would watch Doctor Who for your Christmas present because I've never seen it before.
Last night episode was so good.
Yeah, I've never watched a single episode of Doctor Who.
What? Start with Christopher Eccleston. He is amazing.
Okay. Chris Freckleston, is that a real name? That is clearly
Yeah,
a made-up name.
he was in...
That is clearly a made-up name.
No, he's Northern.
Chris Freckleston.
Christopher Eccleston.
Eccleston, okay.
He was in, like, Thor and 28 Days Later.
Okay. I submit you win.
Yes, of course I do.
I'll watch Doctor Who
Yay!
this week or something. I'll watch it sometime in September of 2018.
God damn it, Chris.
Anyways, our first topic.
Yay!
We go through retro games first, then we'll review one game in case you're unfamiliar with the format. Our first topic is, what historical game would you like to live in, or do you think you could make a living in, past or present?
I'm going to be really boring, and I'm going to say Cyrodiil before the Oblivion Crisis.
And why is that?
Because,
Wait, you can't cheat and say before the Oblivion Crisis.
I
The
can.
Oblivion Crisis, you
I
can't
can.
say, I live in the time of
well,
peace.
how about, I'd like to live in Cyrodiil before
Before all the dangerous shit happens.
No, whatever the champion's name is, I want to be him before he delivers the amulet to Waynham Priory. Because that's when all the shit goes down.
Okay, so you want to be the champion then?
No, I just want to make sure that the champion never reaches his destination.
Oh, okay. You just want to see the world burn then?
No, I just don't want the Oblivion Gates to turn up because the Oblivion Gates are awful. Anyway, I'd like to live in Skingrad.
Okay, isn't that the one where the vampire?
Yeah. That's part of the
Yeah.
reason. He seems like a pretty cool guy, to be fair.
Okay.
He sends you out to go get this vampire cure, and he's like, no, I'm not going to take it. I just want my wife to be peaceful and happy. But he is a bit of a dick to you, in fairness.
Yeah.
But he's cool with the Mages Guild.
Why is that your main reason? You're going to be like a court person, or?
No, it's the home of winemaking.
Oh.
So I can get super drunk all the time. And
That's true.
they have sweet rolls.
But how would you afford the wine? The wine's expensive, I assume.
I'd be a wine taster.
Do they have those things? I assume
They
they
do
I
now.
guess. So you'd be very posh.
Yeah, I think I could pull off the posh, uppity, imperial, Skingradian vibe. That's a word now.
We just invented something else.
Skingradian.
Big Bang, please.
Yeah.
Did the Big Bang invent Skingradian?
No, it only invents the entire universe.
Oh, don't tell them that. You're ruining our argument. But yeah, so you would have to worm your way into court culture, right?
I'm well versed in courtly manners.
Okay. Or are you gonna rob the champion of his dead corpse or her dead corpse?
Yeah, and then I'd pawn the Amulet of Kings.
And then there'd be no Oblivion Gates.
Exactly! Unless I accidentally pawn it to a member of the Mythic Dawn.
Oh, that
which
would be
might
bad.
be an issue. I'll pawn it to the Mages Guild.
Can you destroy it? I doubt you can. It's probably one of those things.
If you can't wear it, I don't think you can destroy it.
Maybe you could just bury it.
Yeah. Or throw it out into Anvil Harbour.
But you have a problem there too, because now all of a sudden you're a hunted woman. You were there when the champion died. Maybe the Mythic Dawn are after you.
Yeah, but he wasn't a champion at that point. He was just like this prisoner who escaped prison.
Oh, that's true.
Who's gonna give a fuck about that?
Yeah, certainly not the Mythic Dawn.
Only Boris really knows. Is that how you pronounce his name, Boris? I pronounce it Boris.
I do not remember. Honestly, I haven't played Oblivion in like 4 years. So.
Well, he's the cool dude in the blades, like the only one who survives.
Yeah.
Like the initial jailbreak.
Yeah.
And he's like, right, you gotta get this to Wayne and Priory. And you never do.
I'll just call him Bob or something.
Yeah, Bob.
You're gonna have to kill him too.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Just slip a little poison wine in his drink or something.
Well, he does end up spending like half the game in a pub, tailing Mythic Dawn agents. Yeah, we all know what you were really doing there, Bob.
Yeah, wait, but you gotta keep in mind that the intelligence that the NPCs will have will likely be more human. I mean, they're not gonna be just have these rote schedules where they're just wandering around doing nothing, right?
Are you sure? That's kind of why I'd like to live in Cyrodiil.
So wouldn't you go mad? Like, they saying the same thing over and over again, and they are basically machines.
Maybe if they had a bit more variety, maybe if you made an interesting NPCs mod for Oblivion.
Okay, I'll have to do that. If you ever get trapped in Oblivion, I will, come to the rescue and make as many NPCs for you to talk to as possible.
Thank you, that would be much appreciated.
Okay, for my turn, I don't really have a specific game because a lot of games fit the criteria. I basically need the timeline to be real, so Oblivion and Skyrim are out. I need it to be real timeline, but I need the populace to be literate and for literature to be valued, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to write my completely original debut novel, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Machine Gun.
No.
I'm going to keep all the names, keep everything the same. But, like, Harry Potter is an Austrian bodybuilder with tons of catchphrases. So, he's going to be like, God, I'm not going to have to do accents, am I?
Yes. Yes. You mentioned it. Now you've got to do it.
Okay. He's basically going to be like, hey, Malfoy, remember when I promised to kill you last? I lied.
Dear. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm so bad at accents. Like, hey, Hermione, get to the Hogwarts. Yeah,
wow.
Like I'm so bad at accents.
Wow.
I shouldn't even try.
I want someone to write an Austrian character for you now.
Yeah, he's gonna be totally buffed and ripped. He's still gonna have glasses. But I'm gonna use the series to basically become a vehicle to troll the future and to invent things that haven't been invented yet. So, for example, I'm going to invent tackle football, American football, but I'm going to still call it Quidditch. So they're going to be playing Quidditch, but they're going to be like, running into each other.
But don't you think that actual Quidditch would be so cool?
No, but then it's not as fun for me to troll the universe.
Quidditch.
So, so J.K. Rowling can invent Quidditch. She can do it on her own, but she'll have to call it something else. She'll be like, I'm gonna call this game Quidditch, and they'll be like, no, you can't do that. Someone already invented that name. The publisher's gonna say you can't call it Quidditch because that name's already taken. She'll be like, by whom? And she'll be like, the guy who invented Harry Potter, who else?
She's like, some guy invented Harry Potter? Oh my god.
She's gonna have to call her protagonist Gary Blotter or something, because that name's gonna already be taken by me.
Oh dear.
And pretty much everything. I'm just gonna invent the theory of relativity. Like, Hermione's gonna invent it. And then, Albert Einstein's gonna have to invent something else. He's gonna have to do something else. It's gonna advance society.
You're going
basically.
to ruin the world.
No, I'm gonna advance society because all the discoveries will come earlier. They've come 200, 300 years earlier. Albert Einstein can rack his brain on something else because he'll already have that knowledge base to work from.
Yeah, but that was like his crowning moment.
He'll find another crowning moment. And as far as Arnold Schwarzenegger is concerned, I mean, his career will be ruined, but, who really cares about him?
Poor guy.
I'm sorry, Arnold. I don't mean that if you're listening.
He's gonna come and smash your head.
Which he... Yeah, but...
no, isn't he actually, like, a really friendly guy?
He is. He's awesome. But I'm going to invent him before he exists.
Or you've got the perfect guy for the role in the eventual film adaptation.
Exactly.
So you're making his career.
He was born for this role. Yes, he was. Hey, Hermione, you want to see your boyfriend fly? And then he grabs Ron by the neck and throws him off a mountain. How cool is that scene
Wow.
going to be?
Okay. Will Harry still get with Ginny?
I don't know. I haven't actually read the books.
Right,
I'm a horrible
so
person.
you've got to. So today we have established you have to watch Doctor Who, and you have to read Harry Potter.
Yes.
What else am I going to find out about you? You are ruining my trust in you. I have no faith in you anymore, Chris.
I know. These are. I know that these are national holidays and like mythic figures in where you come from, but over here they're just characters. They're not actually real.
You are breaking my heart, Chris.
I'm sorry, Alice. I made all that stuff up. I love Harry Potter.
Yay!
And I'm a huge fan of Doctor Who. And I'm gonna prove it by marathoning Doctor Who.
Yay! I'm gonna give you a pop quiz next time.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. Okay, now I really have to watch it. That's totally unfair.
There is a thing called the Doctor Who Wiki.
Oh, I could use it to cheat, is what you're saying.
No. Wikipedia is an unreliable source, and you should never plagiarize from Wikipedia.
Oh. So you're saying that to the guy who just said that he would plagiarize the entire Harry Potter series.
Yeah.
Actually, not plagiarize. I believe the word is bastardize, is what I'm doing.
I don't know. I'd pay to see that version.
Yeah, and it would advance society. So I guess the game Assassin's Creed, I don't know if that qualifies, does it?
Yeah.
It's a simulation of history. So.
Yeah.
But there's got to be a game that fits my criteria.
You could have like a minor role in the background of Assassin's Creed 2. That'd be like the perfect time period, I think.
Right. Because, yeah, it was the whole Renaissance
Yeah.
thing, wasn't it? Yeah. So everybody likes to read. Reading is fun. It's not like Samuel Tarly's situation where you're like, oh, stay in the library.
Samuel
Nobody
Tarly?
Wasn't it Sam
It's
Tarly?
Samuel Tarly.
Samuel, whatever.
God damn it, Chris!
It's your accents. When you guys talk, it's like it sounds all off. It's like speak English. Samuel Tarly, when he's in the Night's Watch, like nobody cares that he can read and that he's smart and stuff like that. You don't want to be like that.
I would actually. I'd just love to have the excuse to spend all of the time in the library, where it's presumably warm.
Right. In if you're trying to survive, but I'm talking about if you're trying to troll history.
Oh, well, yeah. You want to be respected.
Right. Yeah. And so Assassin's Creed, I guess, would fit.
Yeah. Assassin's Creed 2.
Assassin's Creed 2. Okay. Yeah. Whatever. I'm gonna edit all my flubs out because I'm drunk.
No, you're drunk on coffee. Or have you actually been drinking?
I have been drinking, but I'm kidding about editing the flubs out.
You better be.
I think it's more fun to. Yeah, I think it's more fun to leave it in.
Of course.
So I guess that ends that segment. So let's move on to our game of the month, Valiant Hearts. For those who aren't aware, Valiant Hearts is a side-scrolling puzzle game based on World War I. And ladies first, what did you think of the game?
Well, firstly, can we just establish that we're renaming this segment to Kris Makes Alice Play Games that turn her into an emotional wreck?
Sure, it's a little wordy, but
we can turn it into an acronym.
exactly.
We'll work on it.
It
We'll
just
work on
rolls
the
off the tongue.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
so how'd you feel about the game?
Well, honestly, the amount of information they give you about World War One, as those little pop-ups that come up
Right.
whenever you get to a certain point in a level, it could be easily classed as an educational game based on that, because it always had links to additional resources and things like that.
I completely agree. I think it's one of those games where it's designed to trick children into learning about history, I think.
Yes. Can we make this part of general school teaching for education
exactly.
around World War One? Because it was amazing. And it's also highly appropriate that we're discussing this, considering that it's just been the 100-year anniversary of the outbreak of World War One.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
so our timing is good. But But going back to education,
Yeah.
like, if I had children, I would trick them by giving them this game.
It's like the Oregon Trail of this generation.
Right. And I'd be like, hey son, did you enjoy the game? He'd be like, yeah, Dad, I did. I enjoyed it. And I'd be like, ha! I tricked you, boy. You actually
learned! Ha!
Yeah.
Nerd!
You spent your whole summer thinking you were having fun, but you were learning. How's
Well,
it
I'd
feel?
worry about your son if it took him a whole summer to complete that game.
Oh, that's true. But I'd be like, yeah, I tricked you, boy, and by the way, your mother and I are getting a divorce.
Aww, poor kid.
Yeah.
I fear for your hypothetical son. I mean, last week it was papers, please. I don't give a shit about my son.
Yeah.
This week it's, I'm going to drop a bomb on my son once he's played Valiant Hearts.
Well, see, now you know why I don't have children. Because they're all dead.
You cruel man.
No. Well, also, plus I think it's probably against the Geneva Conventions for me to breed. It's probably some kind of form of torture that's, listed in like Article 3 or whatever. But besides that, yeah, I would totally, if I did have children by some miracle of the universe, in some hypothetical universe, I would totally trick the girl, if it was a girl.
Trick the child.
Child. I knew there was a unisex term.
Yeah.
I just did not realize it because, like I said, I'm drunk. So I did not realize it at the time. I learned a new word today. Thank you, Alice. Thank you, Dr. Alice.
Child.
Child.
What a wonderful word.
It's
Very versatile.
Yeah, very versatile. Probably a word I will never have to use in my life again. But yeah. But see, if you say child, I can't visualize it. It does help me visualize if I give this hypothetical person a gender before I murder him through bad parenting. Not
you
actual
are never
murder.
having children.
Yeah, probably not.
Or if you do, you won't keep them long enough to get them to play Valiant Hearts.
No, probably not. He's like 1 month old and I play the game. Learn, child. Yeah. No, that's not how it went. But the thing it is about Valiant Hearts, it is very family friendly, but at the same time, I think it doesn't shy away from anything tragic and dark and everything that's so gruesome and horrible about war. And that's what makes it so great, because it's built in a way that's easy to digest.
Yeah.
Is that how you felt about the art style as well?
Yeah, I thought that it was a nice contrast to, like, how dark the subject matter is. And I thought that the way that the game paced itself in addressing the different issues was really interesting, but because it kind of reflected attitudes at the time to the war. So like in the first 2 acts, it's all gung-ho, we're all going to war, and you've got those little Dance Revolution segments with the car that's got the really funny music.
Right.
And then like about halfway through the game, it just takes like
a really
dark turn.
Yeah.
Like there's this bit where like throughout the game you're knocking out dudes by hitting them on the back of the head. And, like, throughout the game, it only ever has positive consequences.
Right.
And it doesn't matter, like, if you're knocking out German people or French people or whatever. And it clears paths and reduces chance of being spotted. And, like, towards the 3rd act, you have to knock out a superior officer. And then suddenly, boom! You've just fallen down a really, really dark pit of despair that ruins your character's life forever.
Yeah. It gradually goes up. I think the storytelling, like you said, it was really good. The way the narrative went, despite using very simple themes that easy for children to understand.
Yeah.
The one thing that they couldn't really do anything about is the gameplay. Like I said, it's family friendly, so the gameplay has to be somewhat easy for people that age, or 12 or 13 or whatever, to play. Why? You had a hard time with it?
I'm really bad at puzzle games.
Well, I'm bad at video games too, but I thought it was really easy. I thought it was like, oh, this is a joke. This is for kids. Even my dead son could figure this out.
You know when the chlorine gas was first introduced?
Right.
And you had this little pop-up thing that said, soldiers used to wee on napkins. I spent about half an hour looking for a napkin to wee on before I realised I could, like, just send the dog.
Okay, so this is the second part. We really have to talk about this. The chlorine gas. It is by far the most amazing fact in this whole game. In my opinion. Basically, I think it encapsulates everything that has to do with this war in terms of how it was fought, and the types of methods that were used. Because it predates modern warfare, I'd say, in that there's a lot of machinery, but it's really,
on the cusp of breaking into modern warfare.
Yeah, they're not using it efficiently. For example, man has discovered flight, but the Germans are using Zeppelins instead of actual planes. The tanks, they're not really well constructed. They're like ovens. People are burning inside. And of course, the chlorine gas, which is biological warfare. Like, they didn't have a delivery system for it. So what they basically did
was... dropped it and hoped for the best.
Yeah, well, they waited for the wind to go downwind toward the Allied forces. And then they opened the shit up.
Well, if you had a turn of wind, you're buggered,
Oh, then you're fucked, yeah. So it was basically like that. And the response, like you mentioned, was to basically piss on a rag or a napkin or whatever and cover your mouth with it, because they thought,
your nose.
Yeah, and your nose. Oh, yeah, covering your mouth. That would be pretty stupid. It just goes right up your nose and you're dead. But the belief was that, like, the ammonia or whatever in the piss, I'm not sure if this is actually factually true or scientifically true, but the belief was the ammonia kind of mitigated the effects of the chlorine gas. I guess my first question to you is, like, how do you think they figured this out?
I suppose it'd just be like using whatever resources they could find.
But at one point, did the guy have that light bulb moment? And
who discovered that pissing on a jellyfish sting would, like,
so did they try?
Less painful?
But did they try everything else first? Were they like, hey, let's stick these grenades up our buttholes, see if that works? And then this isn't helping at all.
No, I think there is, like, a certain kind of logic to it, whereas, like, to get rid of smoke and stuff, you'll cover your mouth with a napkin, your mouth and your nose with a napkin.
But then, at what point do you start pissing on the napkin?
When you realise that doesn't work.
See, because that's the thing about this war. It was very MacGyver-ish, to use a very old term, because there were no scientists. There's not enough money for gas masks for everybody. Yeah. So they kind of just basically figured shit out on their own.
You do spend most of the game with your main weapon as a shovel.
Right.
But yeah, I think that the strongest point of this game was, I think, the fact that it managed to take a neutral stance on the conflict. Because with a lot of World War-based games, the Germans are evil. It doesn't matter if it's World War I or World War II. The Germans are portrayed as being the bad guys. Whereas in this one, yes, you did have a cartoonish German villain, but the French guys, superior officers, were just as bad.
And you can even play as a German. Which also brings me to another point in the game where I thought I was gonna be able, like you said earlier, like you thought you were able to pee on your napkin. Is like when you're controlling Carl and you're trying to save some people and the gas is everywhere and I'm like, dude, Carl, just take your winky out. Like now's not the time to be modest, Carl.
Yeah.
Go out, take it out and pee on their faces and you'll be fine.
I do think that that some of the facts that were brought up did mislead my
how you played the game.
Interpretation of the puzzles. Yeah. Because it mentioned something and I was like, right, I've got to do this. Yeah. But I thought that, the pissing on napkins was one of the facts that really stayed with me throughout the game.
Every time the gas comes,
I thought,
to pee.
No, because it was quite a MacGyverish solution that you'd expect in a puzzle game.
Right.
It wasn't out of the question.
Yeah, that is true.
So it was something that I was anticipating might have come up at some point.
I really liked the facts in the game, but I think I realized early on that they probably wouldn't apply to the gameplay because I thought that was the adult section. I was like, okay, this is a clear demarcation. This area is for adults. This puzzle stuff is for kids. Yeah,
well, I'm stupid, so...
No, you're not.
I am basically a child.
A child doctor, that's impressive, see?
Yeah.
See? There you go. If you put the two words separately, maybe not as impressive, but Doctor of English, Child, Child
Doctor of English.
Whoa. Then you're getting somewhere. That's prestige.
The only thing that annoyed me about this game was that I had to download Uplay to play it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I don't have Uplay.
Oh.
I had to download it.
Oh, poor baby.
And I hate Uplay. Uplay is awful.
That's true.
So,
I've downloaded both
Uplay, and what's that Origin or things I never use, but
oh god, oh Lord.
But that's the thing. I have all the things on my computer that are necessary for games, but I don't actually use them because I just use Steam. It pretty much covers everything.
Why doesn't everything use Steam? Steam is the best.
Why are these other companies trying to like make their own product and make their own money? They're selfish.
Stupid companies.
Yeah, selfish companies.
Making me download a thing for whole 2 minutes.
Yeah, God.
Yeah.
You know what you could have done in those 2 minutes? I don't know, but it would have been...
I could have been playing the game.
It would have been really important. Our time is valuable. We don't waste it, like, dicking around on podcasts or anything like that.
No.
Well, except for this one.
Or going for toilet breaks, Chris.
That's true. Except for our toilet breaks and this podcast, because it's more important than Discovery of Fire.
Universe.
Yeah.
It's more important than Prometheus.
The wheel? Psst. I laugh at the wheel.
Ain't got shit on this.
Yeah. The Mona Lisa? I could paint that in my sleep. Let's see Leonardo do this podcast for an hour.
He probably could. He was a Renaissance man.
He'd break down and cry.
The pressure! I can't do it! I can't hold a conversation! Oh my god!
I just want to go to my room and paint.
Or design. Or invent. Or read. Or write. Or do mathematical equations. Or basically be an ideal Renaissance man who is multi-talented.
And be an iconoclast that will be remembered for years and years and have more than 400 views.
It's 500. You're underselling us.
Is it? Is it 500? I haven't looked.
I think so. I checked today to see if there are any comments.
It actually should be way more, but I have an explanation for why it isn't. Hackers.
They're hacking our view counts.
It's actually 500 million.
We're bigger than PewDiePie.
Yeah. They just need to take an 8 and put it on its side. And that will be our view counter forever. Yeah.
Exactly.
Why waste the energy and time counting views? Like, what's the point when we're going to have infinity?
Because they know that we're perfect.
Yeah. Infinity views. That's how much we're going to have.
Practically perfect in every way.
And, back to the game. Part of being perfect is coming up with new, amazing rating systems. And how would you rate this game on a scale of Game of Thrones characters?
I would rate it a Brienne.
Oh, and why is that?
Because Brienne goes on a magical road trip that is basically used as the eyes into the effects of war and things like that around Westeros. And this game is like, it gives you a view into the effects of war.
Okay, so it's very Brienne from a narrative standpoint.
Yes.
I would say it's a Ned Stark. And the reason being, Ned Stark is very honorable. The characters in this game are very, very honorable.
Don't remind me.
They are...
No! Don't remind me.
The subject matter, unlike Brienne is somewhat depressing, but she also has a lot of, like, really bright
She's very idealistic.
Right. I think this game is more along the Ned Stark character arc, where it starts out very all, like, you know, happy and all that, and it sort of goes toward a more tragic thing. And the other thing about Ned Stark is he's very family friendly.
Yeah.
He's not a guy who's out whoring and doing crazy stuff, and I think that fits the game very well. So I would rate it a Ned Stark. But you're going with Brienne still?
Yeah, Brienne of Tarth.
Okay. We're just gonna have to agree to disagree.
Yeah.
But the correct answer is Ned Stark.
The correct answer is Brienne of Tarth.
Okay, but either way, on a scale, the real winner is the rating system itself.
Yeah.
Because obviously, if we just gave it a number, no one would know what that means. But if you go, like, Brienne of Tarth, oh, I know Brienne of Tarth. I know how I feel about that.
I think people should adopt this rating system. I think it's great.
Yeah, I think basically other rating systems are they're just gonna have to play catch up at this point.
Yeah. Take note, Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
IGN's gonna do a cover of this.
Exactly. They're gonna rip us off, and they're gonna have to pay us royalties.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna accept those royalties because we're already incredibly humble
and rich from all the advertising revenue that we are definitely getting.
Yes, from our infinity views. Okay, question time.
Yay!
Our first question comes from Pyongyang, North Korea. Mary from Pyongyang says, if wearing a garbage bag gave me better stats, I'd wear it. But I've heard there are gamers out there who will wear shitty armor if it makes them look good. Is there historical evidence of warriors eschewing practical armor for fashion? Also, all hail the living god Kim Jong-un, supreme leader and blazing sun of the communist future.
Well,
great question, Mary. Great question.
First things first, Mary, you have an incredibly Western name. It's quite unusual for that to happen in true Korea.
I think it's like Mari. It's not Mary. It's probably pronounced Mari.
It's probably.
I know that's a Japanese game. That's a Japanese name, Mari. Mariko? Yeah. So it could be a Korean name too. Because we all know they're the same thing, and I probably just pissed off.
Sorry. Yeah. You're not interchangeable. It's lots of very distinct cultures.
Yeah. Japanese, Koreans, and Chinese, they all hate each other, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, the Asian people in general do not get along. Well, I mean, normal people do, but there's like a wide, long history of racism between. Yeah. Like they're like fighting over islands even today, I think. But none of that matters to our friend Mary from Pyongyang.
Right, so first things first, about gamers who prefer to look fashionable instead of having loads of protection. Sorry, guilty. Right.
No, but she's talking about real world.
I know. We'll get into that.
Sorry, I jumped the gun.
God, Kris!
I'm sorry, Alice.
Give me a minute, damn!
I'm such a jerk. Okay,
yes,
go ahead, my lady.
Right, my favourite example of warriors focusing on appearance rather than protection is warriors in Celtic Scotland and Celtic England during the Roman invasion. Celtic culture favoured bleached hair that was fashionable, so...
Oh, but it really stood out, probably, right?
Yeah. And it wasn't necessarily only used by warriors, because there's examples in Celtic poetry of women bleaching their hair, and they'd used crushed limestone as a natural bleaching agent to get a light hair colour, and they'd put that on their hair and in their moustache.
Would that be a disadvantage? I guess because archers could see you easily? Or...
I think it was more to, distinguish themselves from the Roman enemies.
Right. I mean, a lot of the early military stuff, it wasn't camouflage, obviously.
No.
But yeah. It stood out. I don't know if it was for fashion purposes, though.
I'm getting to that. Don't worry.
Okay.
And
go on. I keep stepping on your toes.
Yes, you do. Damn it, Kris. This is my time to shine.
Okay. I'm sorry, Alice. Go ahead.
Go
ahead, my lady.
They would also fight nude.
What? This is amazing.
They would fight nude, and instead of using the actual protection of armour, they'd often wear a carved neckband inscribed with runes for protection and for good luck during battle. And they weren't just naked, they also painted themselves with blue body paint made from crushed woad leaves, which would make an excellent contrast for the amount of blood that they would inevitably be covered in.
Right. Wait, so what was the reasoning for the nudity?
It wasn't necessarily about fashion, but it was about intimidation. Because, if you were a heavily armoured Roman centurion, and then you get this mass of wild, naked Celts, bleached blonde hair, covered in blue, wearing nothing but a neckband, you would be fucking terrified.
So it's the crazy card.
Yes.
This motherfucker is crazy.
And it worked, because, the Celtic culture was pushed back mostly to Scotland. Then Hadrian's Wall was built. They were terrified of the Celtic Scottish.
Okay.
They were just so fearless that it was so intimidating. Naked people are intimidating.
Naked people are not intimidating, but maybe I'm just speaking from personal experience.
Naked people are very intimidating.
But naked, large Scotsmen with muscles rippling everywhere, yeah, that would be intimidating. If I went up there and naked with just nothing but blueberries or whatever covering my privates and bleach blonde hair, they would probably laugh and then cut my head off. So It kind of helps if you're strong.
No, we've got to sweet talk the Scottish. They're talking about leaving us at the minute, so we've got to be nice. Hi, Scotland, we love you.
Oh yes, we love you, Scotland.
But maybe that whole like intimidation factor is why female armor is so scarce in video games. Like MMOs, what's going to be more terrifying than a bunch of gravity-defying tits charging towards you?
So it's intimidation, not because
not rampant sexualization of female characters in the video game industry, which is a problematic.
Yes, I dress my female characters very loosely because I want them to be intimidating.
Exactly.
It has nothing to do with these perverse thoughts in my head about
of course
wanting
not.
to have sex with them. No. I'm a good person.
This is where the Skyrim modding community is so perfect, because it's using the whole intimidation aspect to create all their armors. Exactly.
Oh my god. I think you just stumbled on something.
If anyone couldn't detect that was a huge amount of sarcasm. By the way.
People can detect it.
I hope they do. I'm just clarifying.
What's the deal with Scotland? Like, I just know Scotland has kilts, bagpipes, and wait, it's Ireland that has the beer thing, right? And the potatoes, right?
Yeah, Ireland's potatoes. But Scotland's pretty drunk as well.
They have whiskey. Yeah, Scotland's awesome.
No,
Why are you trying to push them away?
We're not. They want to leave us.
Why are you trying to push them away? Stop being a jerk to
Scotland want to leave us, Chris, and I don't think I can handle the emotional impact.
If you can leave these British jerks and come to America, we'll be happy to have you.
Please don't leave us.
Continental drift. Just start working on that. Just slide on over right by
Don't leave us. Don't leave us, Scotland, please.
Just slide on over right by LA. We'll be happy to have you.
Where else will we get our deep fried Mars bars?
Oh, I don't even know what that is.
It's a deep fried. It's a battered Mars bar, deep fried.
Oh my god, that sounds delicious and incredibly unhealthy.
So Scotland can't leave us. We need the battered Mars bars.
As long as you don't put Marmite on it or whatever. God.
Oh, yes. Oh,
do you really?
Yes. No.
Do you really?
No, I've never had a deep fried Mars bar, but I really want one.
Okay. Because in Japan, they do put mayonnaise on everything. It's just disgusting.
Really? Mayonnaise is gross.
Yeah, they put it like on pizzas and shit. It's like, it's like, what are you doing, buddy?
Mayonnaise is absolutely vile. It's the worst substance in the known universe.
I love Japan, but I don't love your love of mayonnaise. Like I go to a takoyaki stand. I don't like
mayonnaise. We've established this. I like Marmite. I love Marmite.
Okay. Yeah. Marmite looks disgusting, but I will not have an opinion on it until I try it. Same as Doctor Who. It is just one of those crazy British things that I will never understand until
it's beautiful. It's the best. Yeah. Dear listener, try Marmite.
Okay. I don't know if they sell it here, but I'm sure somewhere
you can get it imported, I'm sure.
I'm sure it'll be right there near all the other famous British exports, like, Earl Grey tea and Doctor Who
and Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, all those guys.
Yeah.
They're all just standing there waiting for use.
Exports.
He's just standing there. Benedict Cumberbatch is just standing there waiting for use. Like, just buy him now. You just take him home. Have a Sherlock drama.
Oh, that'd be great. I get to watch Sherlock next year as part of my Batman unit.
Oh, in class?
Yeah.
What?
I've got to read the short stories associated with them as well.
You are not attending a real university.
I am! I honestly
like
am!
DeVry in America. It's like they mail you your diploma online.
I also get to watch Shaun of the Dead and 28 Days Later.
Yes, exactly. It's becoming more clear what type of university you really go to.
One of the top 12 universities for English in the UK.
One of the top 12 clown colleges in the world, I'm sure. But is that all regarding Mary's question?
Yes, just naked Celts, basically.
Yeah. Interestingly, I don't really know much about history, but I did see something similar where in North Korea itself, where they have like this trained guard of women in high heels or something like that. And I was thinking, oh, that can't be comfortable.
Wasn't that Colonel Gaddafi?
He has one too, I think. Well,
had.
Before he had. Before, But I think that is another example.
Yeah.
They have these female
highly
guards
impractical.
yeah, highly impractical, but fashion.
Maybe the skimpy outfit modders are actually emulating Kim Jong-un and Colonel Gaddafi.
Dictator fantasies.
So are they historically accurate feminists, or are they emulating notorious dictators?
We may never know.
What a shame.
That is not a question that we can answer at this point.
No.
Because it's just so, it's 50-50.
It's going to need more research.
Yeah. Okay, and our last question. Titus from Xanarkin asks, I am a 3-sport athlete, and the prom... let me try the accent. Should I try the accent?
Yes.
Dude, I am a 3-sport athlete and the prom king of my local high school. I am pretty much perfect. I'm wondering if there were other premium dudes like myself in historical times. Damn, this started to sound like Johnny. I can't get these accents straight. I am so bad at this. I am not an actor.
It's great.
Okay, in any case,
Dude.
Titus wants to know did royalty in the olden days actually fight in battles, or am I just that special? Alice?
Well, what's his name, Titus? First off, Titus, you sound like a raging douchebag.
Don't offend our listeners. We're gonna get another 2
We've got
dislikes.
billions of them.
Now we're gonna have 4 dislikes.
Oh no!
Right. Oh wait, we didn't offend Mary.
No.
So I'm gonna say we're gonna have 3.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
But it's the price of fame.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
All right. Yeah.
So we established that Titus is a douchebag.
Yes.
But what about his question? Does his question have merit?
Yes, it does.
Oh.
Relatively early on in human civilization, people would congregate and follow strong leaders. So the first kings were strong military leaders who took their land by fighting for it, and they would often go into battle and take their own land and get their own people. People would follow a strong leader who could protect them. That was a king's role as a protector.
But I can imagine like a one-on-one thing, but would they actually storm into battle, lead the charge?
Yes.
But wouldn't that be incredibly stupid as far as getting, like, just a stray arrow?
It's the way to earn merit. You don't initially earn respect by sending other people to fight your battles. You fought your battles yourself. Because you're not a strong man if you can't fight your own battles, if you have to do...
It doesn't matter how strong you are. If you're if you're on the front line of a 10,000 man war, it sounds crazy to me.
The wars weren't as big in pre-Roman history.
Okay, so what kind of numbers are we talking
they
about
were
here?
I don't know exactly the kind of numbers, but the battles that we imagine now looking back weren't half as big, because kingdoms that we see now, so we see England as a kingdom, England was split up into 7 or 8 kingdoms, so the population was split a lot more, so wars didn't have the kind of scale that we expect them to.
Okay, so you're essentially saying they were peer pressured into fighting these wars, because otherwise if they didn't fight them, they'd
then
look
no
like...
one would follow them and no one would accept them as their king. There's like multiple examples of kings getting ousted because they didn't have the military prowess to back it up. So, examples! Yay! One example is King Harold, who was this is going to support your idea of how stupid it was to go out into battle.
Okay.
King Harold, who was defeated by William the Conqueror in 1066, thus starting the modern English monarchy. And he was supposedly killed when arrows struck him in the eye, which yet again, don't go and fight your own battles if you're a king.
Right.
And this is immortalised in the, I don't know how to pronounce French things, but the Bayeux Tapestry. And but this is sometimes seen as being symbolic, because William commissioned the tapestry after he won, and the villain of a story being struck through the eye as a method of death represented an oathbreaker, so William might have used this to cement his claim, but at the same time, there's no real record of Harold being killed in any other way, so there's no records of him being executed as a defeated foe. He was presumably killed on the field of battle.
Presumably.
They weren't very good at writing this kind of thing down, to be honest.
For all we know, it could have been Harold's stunt double.
Yeah.
Which is my theory.
Harold's descendants are still living somewhere waiting to take the English throne.
Clearly, this is where the invention of stunt doubles would happen.
Yes.
Of
course.
This is probably getting off topic, but there probably were tons of, like, you know, in Japan they call them kagemusha, where they have the guy, the decoy.
Really?
The decoy king, yeah. Like, so when assassins and ninjas and shit come and they kill the king, they're like, that's fake.
Lol.
You know?
But there is one king who we do have records of going off and fighting his own battles, and that was Richard III of the House Plantagenet in the Battle of Bosworth of 1485, which was the last battle of the War of the Roses, which gave us the Tudors, the most famous English monarchical family.
Monarchy?
Yeah, whatever.
The most famous one that I've never heard of.
We do them every year in history.
I do know, I think John Tudor was a pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals, but outside of that, I've never heard of the name Tudors.
Queen Elizabeth.
More homework!
You know Queen Elizabeth in Civ 5?
Yes, I played Civ.
Yeah, Queen Elizabeth.
Don't patronize me, Alice. I know Queen Elizabeth.
Patronize.
I play video games. Patronize.
Patronize sounds like I'm just...
Samuel Tarley.
Shut up. But yeah, despite Shakespeare's claims that he was hunchbacked and physically deformed, they've unearthed his Richard III's skeleton quite recently, and he doesn't have a hunchback and things like that. It was Tudor propaganda. But anyway, Richard III is recorded as fighting admirably in the Battle of Bosworth. He unhorsed and killed many of his opponents, many of them famous horsemen, before he was surrounded and eventually killed, which allowed Henry Tudor to take the throne. So these are the two records that I've managed to bring up after a quick Google search of kings who fought their own battles.
No, don't tell them. Don't tell them you use Google.
No, I used the library and stuff.
Your extensive training that you received at clown college.
Yeah. So anyway, Titus, the two kings that I would compare you to are King Harold, who was stupid enough to get hit in the eye with an arrow, or Richard III,
allegedly,
who is notoriously remembered for imprisoning his nephews in a tower and being hunchbacked and being one of Shakespeare's most memorable villains. Which is entirely historically inaccurate, but there you go. So basically, Titus, you're a douchebag hunchback.
Poor Titus, he's still gonna hit that dislike button. He's gonna hit it with his fist.
I don't like Titus. Dude, they totally talk shit about me.
Yeah, then he's gonna go to the beach, listen to some Beach Boys, and hang ten.
Oh no. No, I hate him even more now.
He's gonna have Kokomo on loop.
Oh, that's awful.
But presumably, these are presumably kings who fought in battle, because I still believe...
No, Richard III did.
I still believe that we're talking about stunt doubles here.
They found Richard III's skeleton.
Yeah, and Tom Cruise does all his own stunts, which he might do, actually.
He's only 5'6". I thought that they made him stand on a box for the scenes. Because he's tiny.
Yeah, that's true. But that goes back to what we said in the last episode. I think tiny people make for the perfect actors because they line up.
Oh, did we say this?
Yeah, about Kit Harington. Like,
they're
all that height because they line up. They like,
yeah.
You can get them in one shot.
See, this is why I'm a perfect actor, because I'm tiny.
There you go. Well, the women are more or less around that height, but the men are the problem, because if the men are like 6'5", then you have a shot, and your shot is of a woman staring at a guy's chest.
Yeah.
But if he's 5'6", like Tom Cruise, and if his
perfect.
stunt
eye level.
Yeah, if his stunt double is 5'6" or 5'7", then you're good too. We've gone over an hour.
We've gone way over an hour.
Yes, we have.
This is gonna have to be edited down.
Yeah, we're gonna have to edit out that part where I said Hitler had some good ideas.
Job for you, Kris!
But yeah, that wraps up this episode of Lore Friendly. I hope you liked it.
Are you going to give us another wonderful goodbye accent?
Oh, God. Well, I didn't get to do my Asian accent because Mary from...
Oh, no, don't. Do a Scottish accent. Scottish accent's relevant.
But I can't... See, I can't even do accent. Well, how about a French one?
Okay, French.
All right. Merci, mon ami. How's that? That was horrible.
Thank you. Something.
That
was
au revoir. That's the word.
That's the one.
Au revoir, mon ami.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
This is Viridian, and you're watching the 3D NPC Podcast Network. You may recognize my voice from my previous work, How to Subscribe to a Podcast. It's real easy. You just press a button. I had a Shakespearean lobotomy once. It was right before Kris asked me to voice this segment. Oh, I don't know what I was thinking. This portion of the podcast is quite long, but that's because hidden in each of my messages is a secret code. If you crack it, you get the URL to a hidden podcast, where we discuss facial hair. Yeah, you really aren't missing anything. I've heard some of you want me to start my own podcast. Well, first we'll need funding. Please visit my Kickstarter project at giveviridianyourmoney.com. Congratulations, you've reached the end of the podcast, and for that you deserve a reward. Now if I can just figure out how to give it to you. I tried pushing it through the screen, but it's not working. Oh well, I guess I'll keep it. It's not like you need a jetpack anyway. I mean, what year does Kris think it is? 1968? Spoiler alert, it's not. But maybe it can be, if you press the button.
Oh, I have a question for you. What the fuck is Marmite?
Marmite is a yeast-based product that
You memorized the definition, wow.
that you spread on toast. It's great. I absolutely love Marmite. It is a staple of my diet.
Because it looks like shit on bread.
It does, but it is heaven on bread.
Okay.
It is my favourite thing.
Because I think I read somewhere that you either love it or hate it.
That is the entire advertising campaign.
Really?
Yeah, you either love it or you hate it.
Yeah.
Like, only in Britain could you get something advertised as, you're probably gonna hate it, but you might end up liking it.
And then, if that's the case, then, buy more.
Exactly.
Buy enough for 2 people. Because the other person
do.
hates it. Yeah.
I actually do.
Oh, crap. I think I drank too much. I'm gonna take a quick bathroom break.
Okay.
I'll be back.
I'll be on hold.
Okay, sorry.